So this video tutorial looks at the mathematical strand of number, and more specifically we're going to focus on understanding what multiples are and how to determine a lowest common multiple of two numbers. Alright, so now let's talk about what a multiple is. Well, basically a multiple is the result of timesing two different numbers together. So as an example, a multiple of 6, alright, are just numbers going up by 6. So 6 times 1 gives me 6, therefore that's my first multiple. 6 times 2 gives me 12, that's my second multiple. Alright, 6 times 3 gives me 18, that's my third. So basically, multiples of 6 are just 6, 12, 18, 24, etc., which is essentially the 6 times tables. Now, what about a lowest common multiple? Our lowest common multiple is essentially a multiple of both numbers, but it is the lowest one that we come to. An example, so if I want to do the lowest common multiple of 6 and 5, alright, the first thing I would do is I'll write out my 6 times tables. I'm going to stop at 30, simply because I know 30 can be divisible by 5. I just want to see if there's any others beforehand. So now I'm going to write out my 5 times tables. And I can see that 30 is common between both of them. It's a multiple of both of them, and it in fact happens to be the lowest, so the earliest common multiple that we can find. So we're going to have a look at a few examples of finding the lowest common multiple. My first example is going to be of 4 and 8, so I'm going to write out the 4 times tables. And I might stop at 24. I'm then going to write out my 8 times tables. I know here that I've got 24 as a common, but I've also actually got 16 and 8 as my common factors. So they're, common multiples. So therefore the lowest common multiple is actually 8, because that is the first multiple that we have is common. Again, 5 and 6, well, we've actually done this example already, but I'm going to write out my 5 times tables. I'll stop at 30. We know it's going to be 30 because we've already done this example, but okay, if we write out our 6 times tables, we can see that 30 is the first number that is common, and therefore it's going to be our lowest common multiple. Now, I'm going to ask you to do some practice questions. They're going to come up on the next slide. If you could pause the video. Once you think you've got the answers, continue, and we'll go through the answers on the last slide. So as stated, here are the practice questions. If you can pause the video, have a go at them, and once you think you've got the right answer, continue the video and we'll go through them on the last slide. Alright, so let's see how you went. Well, the first 4 multiples of 8 is just the 8 times tables. So we've got 8, 16, 24, and 32. The lowest common multiple of 4 and 9, I'm going to write out the 4 times tables first. And I'll stop at 40. Then I'm going to write out the 9 times tables. 9, 18, 7, 36. Whoop! I can see that I've got a common number here, which is 36. Therefore, the lowest common multiple, because it's the first common number, is actually 36.